Boom. Hi everybody! Hello Ona! Hello Asi! This is the first three-person video for GOT Academy. I feel like we are doing groundbreaking things here on GOT Academy. So you are here because you have an application that analyzes data from TV shows and movies, like who is in the scene, what is in the scene, what are they talking about, and from that data you can extrapolate all kinds of things to learn more about the stories. And since Game of Thrones is coming up, we're going to talk about your application a bit more later. We want to use the data that you have on your application, Vivi, in order to know if my predictions are right, basically.
Yes.
Basically, we want to know if the data is good or if the data is bad, because the predictions are. Yeah, that's the constant. Let's see if your data fits the bill. And you have looked into the data, you have mined the data
Exactly.
of the show. Maybe tell us a little bit how you did it and what did you come up with.
All right. So basically, we build a platform that allows us to break down every episode in every TV show or movie and tag content into it. So in fact, for example, what's the location that the scene is shot in?
King's Landing, Harrenhal, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
So filming location and diegetic locations of the story. Who are the characters? What are they wearing in Game of Thrones? It's less relevant. Other shows maybe more. What are they talking about? All the internal references, a lot of text, a lot of textual references. Winter is coming.
Catchphrases. Okay. And then you take all that data.
You can search for anything in Game of Thrones and know exactly where it appeared, when, who was in that scene,
and what will happen later.
Yeah, and you can make comparisons, between characters or between locations or between themes.
Let's go for it. Magic.
So the first thing, so the first prediction you had was that, Game of Thrones, you had magic coming into the story from the beginning and growing and growing and growing. I've always seen those who smirk at magic. This is just old Nan's bullshit stories.
Do the dead frighten you?
Grumpkins and Snarks and all the other monsters your wetness warned you about.
Giants fighting for it.
Giants.
That does seem far more likely than magic birds talking to cripples.
Don't forget the prophet Lodos, who promised that the drowned god would rise up and destroy Aegon the Conqueror.
Lodos.
And those who shit their pants.
Blood of my blood.
And then you predict that in season 8 there will be some kind of a decline, and the new world
sudden decline.
Yeah, and the new world will come, and there will be more knowledge and more.
And I don't know what the data says about it.
You don't know what the data says. So I will show you what the data says.
But Silent Bob, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, let's see the data first.
Okay, let's see the data.
All right, so here we see a graph of all the magic in the world. Dragons, direwolf, faceless men, the Lord of Light, White Walkers, Whites, three-eyed ravens, warging, children of the forest, warlocks, anything that is not real. And you see that there's a really steep, graph going up.
These are seasons. Each one of these is like the seasons, like it's from season 1 to season 7. I'm going to the prediction of season 8.
Okay. First of all, there's a dip in season 4.
Yeah, there's a dip, and wait, you haven't seen it all yet. Now I'm going to add knowledge into the story. So I'm going to type knowledge, and I'm going to add it into the graph. And now what I clustered under knowledge was the Citadel and all the Maesters, because they represent knowledge in Westeros.
Okay.
And Sam, of course, because even though he's not, officially a Maester, he does represent knowledge, right? So we've got Sam, we've got Maesters. I do have here Qyburn,
I think it's good.
who is,
great. I believe so. We'll talk about him later.
He really we can talk about Qyburn later.
Okay, let's leave it for later.
But we leave it, but we can look at it without Qyburn, and we see that he does make a little bit of a difference.
Okay.
And you see what happens in season 4?
Ooh.
There's like they meet.
Okay, so first of all, why does the magic dip in season 4? What happened in season 4
Season 4 is the season with Tyrion and Oberyn.
Martell,
yeah,
right.
and the trial, the comedy of trial. Two stories. We had like the King's Landing, the trial, the big trial, and we had in the Essos, you know, she was like more in Marine, already trying to understand the politics and everything. It was not about the dragons.
I will not sail for Westeros.
What then?
I will do what queens do. I will rule.
It was a season about politics and about, you know, trials and...
This is why I like this season.
I like season 4.
Okay, and then...
What you can see from this graph very nicely is that when the magic is up, the knowledge is down. So we have 2 peaks of magic
boom.
and 1 peak mostly in terms of the knowledge. And if we're looking towards 8 and we go like combing the 2
might
lines together,
meet.
we're in the downfall of magic, like you said.
We
And
are
we're in the
already in the
upward-
downfall of magic?
Yes,
Yes,
season
there has been a
7.
decline, you know.
So if we see this as kind of like a trends of stuff, you know, so this trend is coming down, the magic, and like you said, and the knowledge is going up. And if we try to put like the 2 lines together, season 8 will probably mean kind of like the meeting again, around like what it was in season 4.
Or what I predict is that the magic will disappear, so we just fall off a cliff immediately. No more magic.
That is possible.
But at the end of the story, episode 1, season 9.
Yeah, the knowledge itself will start to prevail to this kind of...
Or maybe control magic. You know, when we talk about history of humankind, every time we got to a point in history where we don't understand what's going around the world, we invented magic. We invented God.
Right.
We invented,
Right.
you know, things that we don't. Water is coming from the sky. We must have done something good or bad, right?
Right.
But then knowledge came in, and we started to understand why things are happening around, and we couldn't control them. It doesn't mean that they didn't happen. It just meant that we were able to explain them, control them, you know, use them. You were saying that magic, you know, may disappear or and knowledge will take over, and I don't see it that way. I think that with knowledge, we will be able to see the ability of some people in Westeros to control magic for their own use, to have magic control, not out of control like it is today. You know, like the dragons, they just do whatever they want, nobody can tame them.
Qyburn is like, he was from the Citadel and he was like banished from the Citadel because he was doing like stuff that was not allowed. Like Leonardo da Vinci kind of, you know, character.
Okay.
He's like
Narcophil, Leonardo da Vinci.
but he was doing it on live people, you know, and like then Da Vinci was doing it on dead people, and that's why he was like he had to do it in secret, and he was doing a lot of stuff like on weapons actually. And if you know, like he was the first one that had like a tank drawn, like the idea of tanks.
A tank? I thought a submarine he had.
He had a helicopter then, but also tank.
okay.
He was commissioned to do a lot of like weapons for, and was doing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So this like talks about the scorpion kind of thing that he does,
Right.
and it's like he's like this very knowledgeable person. He's actually more knowledgeable than the Maester.
May I ask what you think you're doing?
Saving him.
He's avant-garde. He's pushing
Yeah,
the
he's
envelope.
pushing the envelope, and it's not magic. Everything's done is doing from kind of knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Pycelle says something, I think it's black magic, or some people refer to what he's doing as black magic, but usually people say black magic when they don't understand what something
Right,
is
there's
doing.
this concept called like the God of the gaps. What we don't know, we say this is
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
And the more we know, then God slowly retreats. So you think your prediction is that at the end, the magic will not be destroyed, but what we classify as magic will be reclassified as something else.
When he was like meeting, you know, was in the dragon picture of the meeting, and that, you saw the white was coming, and everybody was like frightened and everything, and Qyburn was like, interesting, you know,
picks up the
and he picks up the hand, and the hand is
looks
like this, and
at
go, how does this work? It's not like this is magic.
Knowledge
Look how
is
this
his
works.
main driver. Like,
So what do you
he
think
doesn't
about
care about
Qyburn?
Cersei or the throne or whatever. He just wants, you know, to know more.
To get a grant
Yeah.
to do some research.
Exactly. We met him the first time. You can see Qyburn, and we see that the first time we met him was in season 3, episode 1.
What's your name, friend?
Qyburn. You're lucky to be alive.
And everyone's slaughtered by the mountain.
Lucky.
And Cersei sees that spark in him that he's only driven by this knowledge. Like, he doesn't care about his ego, about impressing anyone around him. He's just obsessed with that.
So it's like, it's really, really interesting, right? It's the same mountain that, you know, that was almost died by this mountain. Now he's like saving him, maybe you can see it, but he's not really saving
But this is exactly the point. He saw the power of the mountain and the destructive force of the mountain. He's using that power for whatever he wants.
May I have the honor of presenting the newest member of the King's Guard?
And then we see two more scenes that I want to note, okay? Season 5, episode 2.
Not him. Take the head.
Pardon me, Your Grace. I would take it, if you don't mind. It could prove useful for my work.
He wants to learn, right, flesh, anatomy, dead bodies. He's studying them constantly. I think that's very important to remember because I think that he wants to learn how to control the force of the White Walkers, of the Whites, of how to control this magic that is death, really. And there's no one in Westeros who understands death better than Qyburn.
Maybe John. He died. This is like an academic knowledge. Okay, so you read about death. I died.
Yeah, he understands it in his body.
I believe I have this prediction that he has a lot to do with the demise of Cersei. That's really what?
The demise of Cersei.
Yeah. Like everybody's talking about how Cersei is going to die or what's going to happen. My prediction is like this. I think that, there's like this idea that, of course, Tyrion or someone or Jaime is going to...
Valonqar, prophecy, whatever.
The way I see it, we have like this season, right? In terms now I'm talking about TV, like what we have. Mm-hmm. We have this season, we have like two places it's going to happen. We have the North and we have King's Landing. It's two places.
Right.
And in the North, it's everybody. It's everybody we love. And all the characters fucking nice. Like in the beginning, it's going to be like, hey, hello, whatever. Yeah, you killed my father.
Still a lot of that.
Right? Yeah, you killed my father. You killed my father.
Prepare to die.
And like, okay, that's what's going to happen. And in the South, it's going to be like just this like King's Landing, empty place, right? Only Cersei, and we have Qyburn, and we have the mountain maybe with like just nothing. It's not a character even anymore.
Okay.
So I don't think that even that all these characters are going to make it so much.
I think at the end. I think the last episode.
The last episode. I think that when she kills someone, right? She always says, "Oh no, this is too good. This is too good for you," and then she lets them know the way she did with Elarisan, and the nun from
Elia and her daughter.
Yeah. It's always no. This is too good for you. We're gonna take your time.
She likes to watch. She likes to watch the people who hurt her suffer.
So you think that Qyburn will do that to her?
No, I think that Qyburn will have a key role in this, but I think that the most thing, what's the worst thing that Cersei can happen? It's not this, of course not. Right. It's not even shame. She's already been like It's not. You don't know. That's not it. The thing that she really wants is power. And to rule. Right. She wants to have this power.
She wants. Maybe being a slave. That's the worst thing that can happen.
I think that no. I think the worst thing that can happen to her is like if you strip down her power slowly, and like the prophet says, strangle her. Like the way that the power of King's Landing is going to just decline. She's going to rule on nothing. That's what I believe. I think that what will happen is after the war, we'll have a second place that will be like the main power. And this power will
Harrenhal.
It's going to be like the power is going to go to there. And King's Landing is just going to be emptied out. The Iron Throne that everybody's talking about is this really big throne. Who's going to sit there? I think it won't matter because the Iron Throne itself as a place of power is going to demise.
It's a beautiful, beautiful prophecy.
Yeah, I hope it happens.
I hope it happens. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Vivi.
So Vivi really is like a smart Shazam for television.
Okay.
Like everything you want to know about what you see or hear on television, Vivi can tell you what it is. I think in Game of Thrones, the main focus here is text and references and what they said and what that means. And all these things can be linked into the show.
Okay, but it's not only for Game of Thrones.
No, it's for any show.
But when we talk about IMDb, it's like it's content, it's extra diegetical content. It's like the actors, right? We're talking about the characters, things that are inside the story. And we're talking about content that is from users, from content that was made by users, not made by the networks and by the show contributors. It's something that is from the fans themselves. What fans are saying, what fans are putting out on the internet. We think that this kind of content should be like really accessible and open.
We're just linking it to all the fans out there who already found, where this was shot in, why is that important, and we're just linking it into the show itself. So So you can go in and, you know, and not just get the information relevant to the scene, but you can also go after the show and, you know, search for something and then see all the scenes that it appeared in.
So I can do it during the show.
Yeah.
While I'm watching the show, I can see through your app what is going on in the episode.
In the scene.
In the very scene itself, who is playing in the scene? How can people
Where
get that?
is it?
People
Who
want
is
that.
it?
I want that. How can I get that? Please,
All right,
give it
just
to me.
Click this link.
There is a link. And okay, and through the link, I can get the Vivi app.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Rona.
Thanks for having us.
You are leaving
sorry,
me
yeah.
hanging to dry there. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you, patients, for supporting the channel. Bye, everybody.